What is up? Back at David Confused. This is an embarrassing one. So, as a horror movie fan, I've seen tons and tons of horror movies, and 9 times out of 10 I can watch them and just kind of, know they're a horror movie and not really take it on after the movie, not really keep it in my head. But then there's sometimes you don't even know what it is. You can't describe it, but just sometimes certain movies just flick a switch in your head and it's like, you are scared now. Today is going to be a bad day for you. And I'm going to talk about a couple movies that really scared me, but really shouldn't have. There's a lot of awesome horror movies out there that should give you a reason to worry. Movies like Jaws. Like, you know how many people don't go swimming in the ocean because of movies like Jaws? Movies like Annabelle. You know how many people don't buy dolls, especially antique ones, because of movies like Annabelle? But then there are these movies that are super corny and weird and sometimes not even like the best of horror movies, but they scare you and it's embarrassing. So now I'm going to put myself on the chopping block and we're going to talk about things that embarrass me. Here we go. Okay, so I constantly get teased about this from my friend who I saw the movie with. The movie was Dead Silence. And if you've seen this movie, it's a movie about this ventriloquist lady who bad stuff happened to and she died and she was made into a ventriloquist dummy as her last wish. Alright. And she was buried with all of her ventriloquist dummies, so she had like 100 of them. Well, she comes back as this ghost that rips people's tongues out, and it's like it's not even that great of a premise of movie. It's super corny and cheesy, but I have this like irrational fear of old ladies in horror movies, or just elderly citizens in horror movies in general, and I can't explain it, but I've always had this phobia of it. And this woman, this ventriloquist woman thing in the movie scared me so bad. So me and my buddy Nathan, we saw it in theaters, right? And it was to the point where I was looking away from the screen because I didn't want to watch her pop out. That's how bad and ridiculous I was about this. My buddy was sitting next to me, and a random guy that was sitting next to him, they were laughing at how corny the movie was. And I was just beyond scared. Like, laughable scared of this movie because of the old lady. Then, after the movie's done, we're driving home, and he pulls up to my house. My parents weren't home. My sister had already moved out. I would have been home alone. And he lived 30 seconds down the street, right? So he's like, all right, man, have a good night. And I was like, hey, why don't you just spend the night? You should just we'll play video games and stuff. I'm not even tired. I didn't want to spend the night alone. So he's like, no, bro, like, my bed is 30 seconds away. I might as well just go home and crash. And I was like, hey, new idea. How about I go to your house and spend the night there because I don't want to be alone. I was so scared. And I've seen this movie since then. It's not a bad movie, but it's not like keep you up at night scared movie whatsoever. But that night, it terrified me, and I did not want to sleep alone. So I ended up crashing at my buddy's place on the floor, on like a carpet, with a couch cushion as my pillow, literally because I just didn't want to sleep in my own bed because I would have been alone. That's how lame I was about this movie. Okay, another time I got ridiculously scared because of a dumb movie, and I shouldn't have been scared. The movie was 13 Ghosts. Now, this movie has almost gained like an underground cult following behind it. And it's actually a really good movie. I actually really enjoyed the movie. the second or third time I watched it, when I wasn't scared out of my britches. Britches means pants. So let's just clear that up. So it was actually me and my cousin Alana. And at the time, my family lived out of the city. And we were surrounded by like bush, like forest, right? And the movie was on TV. And me and my cousin were watching it. And it was like perfect horror movie settings, you know? Like very dim lights in the room. The movie was like, it was on a big screen, surround sound. It was like midnight, so it was pitch black outside. Everyone else in the house was asleep. Like, it was perfect horror movie settings. And we got really into the movie, and it started to really freak us out. And I think she was scared of horror movies, which made me like also scared that evening. Like, I was feeding off her like scary, fearful energy of this movie. And right at like one of the scenes where one of the ghosts was gonna kill somebody, the power went out. Like, my entire house went pitch black. You couldn't see 2 inches in front of your face. And I was like, oh my God, like, what is happening? Like, one of these ghosts is here for me. I pissed off some ghost somewhere, and he's here. So when the lights came back on, it was me and my cousin, and we were so freaked out. And the TV had turned off, but didn't turn back on when the lights came on, right? And so we looked at each other, we were like, I don't think I want to turn the TV on. And she's like, no, I don't want to turn the TV on either. So we were so scared, we didn't even finish the movie, which actually has kind of a happy ending. But we wouldn't know because we were so scared. We didn't turn the TV back on to find out. So we were just like, nope, nope, I'm good. I don't want this. So I ended up seeing the movie, I don't know, like a couple months later, and it's a great movie with a great ending, and I really enjoyed it. But the first time I saw it, for some reason, I was so scared of it. Yeah, these are 2 movies that really scared me that shouldn't have, and I'm embarrassed. And now you know my dark secrets of how I'm actually scared of everything. What was the last movie you watched that actually scared you? Legitimately scared you? Leave it in the comments below. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Dave, still confused, and at least our dogs aren't werewolves. Peace.